Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we are going to get into galactic travel. What's it like to channel and talk to ETs? What's it like to be an abductee, a contactee? This is our kind of woo here, people. We're waiting for Tyler Ellison. His hair looks great tonight. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little jealous of his hair tonight. Really jealous. So I might not even put his video up because I'm that jealous. Yeah, but the best part about tonight, we have each and every one of you tuning us on in, so let's get the roll call started. We got T-Bone in the gold medal position, Tim Mothman in his goatee with a silver, Kitty Caddyback taking the bronze medal tonight. Race Fan in fourth place. Necessary Dialogue, how are you? Nice to see you. Mel WD40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you cannot talk alien contact without being lubed up, just in case. Remember, we have a shirt on our store that says it doesn't have to hurt. It's a lube shirt, courtesy of Mel WD40. So, Mel, thank you very much. Don't forget to give yourself a little shot of that as well. Thunderhead, how are you? Nice to see you as we scroll on down on our roll call and say hello to Lisa Smith. Frankie B, how are you? Millerman is here. Millerman will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Be gentle. It's his first time signing autographs, so just go easy on him. Our Aussie Boss Tiger, how are you tonight? Stephanie Kenny Blankenship. Luscious Jewels at Desert Rat. Nice to see you all here. And Bolenia, my man. How you doing over in Ontario? Mama Catherine, there she is. Mwah. I love you, my dear. I hope you had a great day. I know you're going to enjoy tonight's show. Let's have some fun with it, and you just sit back and relax. Old Davey will do all the work tonight. All right, moving on down. We say hello next to, scrolling on down, Jaquetta, Flat 6. How you doing? Thomas Rock, nice to see you. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. There's John Jackson. John Jackson will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. He will not sign in anything blue Sharpie. That's the only pen he uses is blue Sharpie. So get used to it. Little Cam on YouTube. So pumped up for the Olympics. He ski jumped. You know when they go flying off that big jump? He ski jumped 232 meters tonight. New Olympic record right there. Maybe even a world record. They're measuring it as we speak. Scrolling on down, we got Search and Destroy. How you doing? And who is next on our list? Oob to Joe's Maine. You've got ticks. You might need a tick collar. Yeah, you probably need a tick collar if you got bit by a tick. I hope you got it out, dude. That could be dangerous. Totally dangerous. So make sure you clean that area nicely. Jay Trueseeker, how are you tonight? As we continue on with our roll call. Jerence Carter, nice to see you tonight. As we, let's see, I'm going to make sure because my screen jumped here. Yeah, we're good here. We're good. All right. And who else do we have here? Walter Kochabinski, nice to see you. And who is next on our list? Let's see here. Werewolf, nice to see you. FU, Zaddy, how are you tonight? Salute to you. And East Coast Turnaround on X, nice to see you. And I'm Hardcore on X. Good to have you here. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to have a great show with Tyler Ellison tonight. We're going to get totally in deep in the woo, where we're going to channel aliens. We're going to talk aliens, ET contact, alien abduction. What do these aliens want with us? We're going to find out from Tyler here momentarily. We're in YouTube roll call right now, where we say hello to Uncle Remus. Nice to have you here. And we're going to just warm you up by reminding you the super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Our store is open on our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So check it on out and be handsome, be good looking by wearing our stuff, because nothing's ugly. You could wear it out in public and actually be proud to wear it. People will come up to you and say, where did you get that? I've had it happen. Now, do me a favor. Throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you for tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We have an amazing show for you tonight. We're going to turn up the woo a little bit. Tyler Ellison is here. We are going to get into ET contact, ET communication, alien abduction, communication through channeling. It's going to be a great show, so get ready, get prepared. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another creepy story. We're going to follow that up with Robin Haynes, who will be here for her weekly Q&A. So let's tee this thing up. I'm pumped up about it. Tyler Ellison is a dynamic voice in modern spirituality, blending ancient magical traditions with contemporary energy practices to help individuals awaken their inner power. A metaphysical magician and licensed acupuncturist, Tyler brings the worlds of spirit and science, guiding students and clients through transformational journeys of healing consciousness and expansion. Widely recognized for his channeling work and multidimensional teachings, Tyler explores communication with higher intelligences, archetypal deities, archangels, and esoteric spiritual systems from around the world. His content weaves together mysticism, meditation, energy healing, occult philosophy, and basically anything that goes along with aliens. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're even going to get Tyler to channel for us. And if we're lucky, the being that he calls Ryoka will actually allow us to ask him some questions. Let's find out. Tyler Ellison, great hair. Great to have you on Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Dave, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me, man. Great show. And I'm excited to dive into these really cool topics and realities.
We are going to get real deep into this, man. And this is the type of show I love. I really do, because it allows me just to throw the pragmaticism out of my head. Okay, because I'm too pragmatic at times. I can throw that crap out, concentrate on the weird and strange that makes the phenomena so fun. How did you open up to this, man? What happened to you?
So my introduction into spirituality, higher consciousness, and ETs all happened right around the same time. The whole New Age movement is abundant with these types of themes, with these types of offerings and services and experiences. So for myself, right around junior year in high school was when I first became aware of things like yoga, crystals, and the ability for consciousness to be altered to allow for higher states and communication with higher beings to be achieved. So I'm sort of a psychonaut. That's my introduction into all of this, exploring consciousness, be that through meditation, yoga, be that through various psychedelic portals as well. But that's how I got into this right around 11th grade in high school. And over time, my relationship with the spiritual teachings evolved to such a level where I was seeking higher information and higher clarity. I came into contact with a really powerful channeler named Daryl Anka and his work channeling the entity Bashar. And that was heavily inspirational and influential in my journey. And I found those teachings so helpful. And at a certain point, I decided that a really useful ability or power would be to actually possess the ability to channel for myself, to receive information and wisdom, and to not really be dependent on an external source for like decision making and navigation. So I started practicing regularly the art form that is channeling, that allows for this communication with other beings to be possible. And that evolved into UFO experiences, that evolved into contact experiences, and it has, of course, evolved into the work that I do today. So you did a really great introduction. I really appreciate the really accurate description you gave of my work and all of this fascinating occult stuff and like esoteric stuff. I got into that to actually become a more developed channeler. So those forms of, you could say, alchemy or esoterica most certainly are a part of contact and have absolutely made a big difference in my ability to access these beings and share their messages.
Why do you love what you do?
I love what I do because to me, there is a sense of eternality to it. Most things in the material world are temporal in nature, right? So we have great experiences, but then they sort of fade away as new experiences are had. And it's sort of like sandcastles. Working with the energy, working with consciousness, working with these beings, I sense and feel that I'm working with something that feels more foundational. It feels more integral. When I'm working with this stuff, I feel like I'm working with the fabric of the reality, and it feels familiar, like a place we all understand and know. And it's my sense that that fabric is what we're entering more deeply into following this lifetime. So the stuff that I'm doing here on Earth, that is my work, I see it as this type of labor that extends into these greater realities that one day I'll enter into, when this lifetime's finished. And I find the fulfillment that comes from that it's very different than any other type of fulfillment.
The word fulfillment, I find that personally a very dangerous word in the field, at least for me. And the reason why is the one thing that I've learned on my quest with the phenomena that started in 2011 is the phenomena can be very giving, but very greedy at the same time. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care what you like. It doesn't care about anything. It just puts you in the situation where you need to be, or where it feels you need to be. As you began your journey to where you are now, tell us about some of the ups and downs you went through by going deep into the phenomena pool.
Certainly. And I think that's a really cool point. The idea of finding something like fulfillment, something that could be dangerous or even polarizing. When I'm using the word fulfillment, I describe it as a type of satisfaction, a type of peace or contentment with the flow of life, even if there are like low points like you're talking about, or even if there are disgusting or harmful realities that exist, which I think, that's certainly in our zeitgeist right now. So there is, low points, there are low points that are certainly a part of the spiritual journey. And I'll definitely get into this. So my relationship with the spiritual process from the beginning had a very yogic perspective, a very yogic attitude. And what I mean by that is the yogi is one whom is actively pursuing the spiritual relationship, and they're striving to become conscious with regards to their role in it. So we can think of there being a higher universal will and a personal human will. The yogi is seeking to transform the personal will. So it's in resonance with this bigger will. And in the beginning, that bigger will, that sort of universal spirit or program that moves us or reveals itself to us, in the beginning, that seems like a separate entity. It seems like a separate force. It almost seems like maybe the hand of God is like picking things up and moving them around. And it can seem certainly very chaotic. And it can seem kind of cold, right? The spiritual awakening oftentimes will bring crumblings or revelations to one's life. So the stuff that's not working, the stuff that's kind of rotting or corrupted in the background, the spiritual awakening, which brings in more light, can reveal a great deal of those themes that aren't really working out. And that can cause one to have to take the next step in their journey, whether that's leaving a relationship or changing their lifestyle or looking at life in a very different way. But as that spiritual union between the person, the individual, and the universe takes place, personal will, divine will become one and the same. And the universe becomes a greater extension of the individual's mind. And this is when the individual works as an avatar of the higher intelligence, the higher universal mind. And that is when miracles can be performed. And those miracles can be like really simple, amazing gifts, very beautiful things. And those miracles can also be very spectacular things. But when we have that connection, that's where the possibility portal really opens up. For me, I didn't have a teacher or a mentor when I got into this stuff, not for a while. So I was exploring this just on my own, looking into whatever types of meditation techniques I could, whatever types of consciousness tools I could find to, deepen this process. Over time, I started working with different esoteric lineages, multiple teachers to help me understand and develop, my capacity to explore this esoteric and psychic world. And that certainly made it easier. But these techniques, these ways of life, these psychic processes, these spiritual awakenings, all of this, it will dissolve that which is false. It will dissolve that which no longer serves. And it will push us forward in evolution. And I think when I was younger, that was harder, right? Yeah. There was a lot more resistance. But as I've gotten older and I've just, been through this process, sort of a few times, it gets easier. Most of our suffering really is coming from resistances that we have about whatever the process is that we're a part of. So if those resistances are released, a lot more peace can be found, even in moments of pain or suffering. And that peace can build.
Oh, I know the suffering. I lived a nice, happily boring life, my friend, before the phenomena, hooked me like a fish and took me out of water. That's for sure. And you know what? It's amazing what comes along. I mean, the phenomena will gift you some pretty amazing things as well as experiences. I never thought that I would channel. I never thought that I would sit in a completely blacked out room and see it like almost looking like a solar system spinning above my friend and I. I never thought I would see ghosts or UFOs or aliens, but I also at that same time wasn't prepared for a couple of things. Number one, I wasn't prepared to lose the amount of friends that I lost. That one kind of stung. But looking back on it, I think the phenomena was really trying to push bad energy out of my life to have me focus, but it still sucks. And number two, And I've talked to a lot of people about this over the years, man, where people prior to entering the field of delving into the phenomena and going down that rabbit hole, most of them were very financially stable. And the minute they got involved with the phenomena, their finances have become like a roller coaster, and to the point where they've never been able to recover. I'm in that boat too. How do you battle such heavy waves to stay true, to stay on the path that you need to be? Because it is a very difficult path to start learning all of this, learning about your spirituality, learning about your soul connections, your paranormal activity, your cryptid activity, your alien activity, because it all will come. Eventually, it will all come.
Yeah, certainly. This awakening to the psychic universe, the psychic gifts, the ET presence, the spiritual realities, absolutely, that is coming. The collective awareness of that level is going to be something our people step into, especially over the next few years. And certainly that idea of things crumbling, relationships crumbling, businesses or finances crumbling, that can absolutely happen with these processes. So when we talk about the phenomenon, there's a lot of stuff that can kind of fit into that category. But I know here we're talking about specifically the phenomenon involving ETs and whatever this higher intelligence that is the universal plan ultimately is. So when we start to resonate with that, when those higher levels start to become a part of our experience through our natural evolution, through our natural growth, our consciousness expands and we start to notice these worlds. The noticing of them, even if it's subconscious, is going to cause us to resonate with this. And that resonation amplifies our energy and that raises our frequency. So as an energy field, we're vibrating more quickly. We can think of vibration as the amount of time it takes to trace a circle. The faster you can trace that circle, faster the propeller spinning, the higher the frequency. So when we start to resonate with that greater intelligence, the phenomena, our frequency rises. This allows for our aura, you call it the light body, to begin to attract into our experience more light. And that light will disrupt whatever has become an attachment that is anchoring our consciousness excessively to the past or to an outdated identity. So for some people, their sense of self, their sense of identity comes from their financial status or their position in society. For some, their status, their employment, their relationships. Many people form these things out of convenience rather than from a motivation of destiny, rather than from a motivation of alignment, instead of using the soul as their guidance for making these arrangements and decisions, they're sort of going off of the societal script. And as a result, when they start to awaken, anything that's not a part of that soul nature is going to get disrupted, because it's almost as if the person is like a plant. When they start to spiritually awaken, just like we were talking about before, they get sort of uprooted and then they're going to get planted in a new reality. It's still going to be earth, right? It's still going to be a version of this experience, but it's going to be a version that represents who you are as a unique being. So that process, it's very similar to what many astrologers call the Saturn return. This sort of process astrologically is said to bring up the misalignments that have taken place over the lifetime. You call it the karma that's been brought up, and it rearranges all of this. So the person is reoriented once more towards their original character, their original nature, who they were when they were actually born. So these types of higher experiences are doing a similar thing, and it can be tough. These are processes that can span sometimes many years. Having a spiritual practice, I think, is the biggest asset. It is the biggest super tool to have when going through a spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening without a spiritual practice is sort of like being strapped into a roller coaster. You just got to do what the roller coaster's doing. But if you have a spiritual practice, you have a big influence in the energy. how you're processing it, how you're manifesting it. That's the biggest upgrade anybody who's going through a spiritual awakening can utilize. Developing a practice that's ideally done each day so they can build momentum and develop their energy body so they can handle this higher responsibility that comes from this union with the universe.
When did you start to put the puzzle pieces together that you could communicate with spirit, you could communicate with ETs, you could channel? How did that all begin?
It began first with inner communication. So when my initial spiritual awakening started happening, like I was mentioning, I didn't really have a teacher. I didn't even have a spiritual practice. These activations, these realizations, this was all just sort of spontaneously happening. And during that process, I became very aware of my energy, became very aware of the chakras. They went from being sort of a conceptual experience into an actual sensorial experience. So I just applied the most basic teaching that I found across the many traditions. And that teaching is follow the heart's guidance, connect to the heart. So obsessively, I started disciplining my mind. So instead of monkey mind just thinking about random concepts, the past, the future, I instructed my mind, stay inside the body, focus on the feeling of the body, and anchor into the heart. And I used the heart as sort of my center of gravity for how I navigated life. Whenever I needed to make a choice, whenever I had a question, whenever I was curious about the next step, I would just connect to the heart and I would be able to feel what the answer was, the correct answer or the most vibrationally or spiritually aligned answer would be accompanied with this feeling of love and expansion. And any feeling that was sort of lesser or maybe was a no, it would feel like a contraction. So my very first experience with receiving communication came from this sort of inner empathy for my own heart. That over time began to expand. So the heart, when it is fully activated, causes the aura to expand. And that expansion of the aura is from the brain's electrical field and the heart's electrical field working together. So that combined energy field expands our aura, our electromagnetic field. So what that means is the heart, for most people, it's, this organ right in the center of their chest. But when it's spiritually awakened, it's as if the body and the energy field become this extension of the heart. When our mind connects to the energy field, the layers of body beyond our physical body, this is where we're able to start to access the beings whom are quantumly entangled with our own aura. So we don't come into this reality alone. I know you know this, Dave. We come in with many guides and we awaken to them over time. And that awakening process is our heart now expanding more greatly into the energy field. And that allows for us to become conscious of the beings, of the guides that are there. And if you form a relationship with them, it can turn into telepathy. And when that first happens, it can feel like a level of thinking that's similar to your own, but it's like super thinking. It will feel familiar to you, but it's way expanded in terms of the scope, in terms of the quality and accuracy of the information. So everybody has the ability to do this, to awaken the heart, to expand the energy field, and to make contact with these beings. We all have guides that are present here, and awakening the aura is where we start to make them conscious.
We have about 35 seconds before we need to go to break. And one of the things that I want to know from you when we return, I want to know about your experiences, because we get a lot of people on here who say, oh, everything's been hunky-dory, positive, peace, love, and light, and pixies. Okay, but there's a lot of people out there who also have a lot of negative experiences that go along with the positive, like a yin and yang when it comes to the phenomena. I want to get into that with you when we return from the break here. Tyler Ellison is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I'm loving this so far. His website, thegalacticguide.com. You can follow him on YouTube. Go to YouTube at Health Thyself. health, thyself. Check it on out. Spaced Out Radio continues with Tyler right after this. I just have to time everything out, so we're good now. Good start, my man. Good start.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, you're asking great questions, dude. I have not been presented questions like this before, actually. So really cool information.
Yeah, man. That's why I said we just run with it. Let's just go, and wherever the conversation takes us, we're gonna take it there, man. That's what makes it fun.
Oh yeah, totally, dude.
The hair looks great, though. I am jealous of the hair.
Oh, thanks, dude. I swear it's a blessing from the computer. In person, I feel like it's kind of like but whenever I see it on camera, I feel like you're talking to me about miracles. This is one of the graceful miracles. My hair looks nice.
I want to grow mine back so bad. I haven't grown it in a couple of years, but I'm getting the itch to grow it back again. I had hair like down to here, man, like down past my boobs. It was great.
Oh, no way, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It reminds me of like a super hippie.
Yeah, man. It was good. I had one look that I had. I got one picture of myself with it, and I turned it into a black and white picture. That, everybody has that one picture where you just look really badass. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And I turned it black and white. I had a black toque on, or you Americans call it beanies. I had a black beanie on, but my beard was like really thick. And then my hair was like down to here. It looked really badass. And I missed that look. Totally missed that look. I got to go back there.
Yeah, I'm thrilled you're making a comeback with it, man. Because you have the beard feature. That's definitely going strong. So I feel like that power will extend to the follicles up here.
I haven't seen my chin in so long. I don't even know if it's there anymore. I don't even know how many chins I have right now.
Oh man, it's like an urban legend.
Right.
That's amazing.
Right. So
beards are, I think, my area that could use the most power. I can get like a little one going, but I haven't been able to get the one that's coming down. That's always been elusive.
You just got to power through.
Just will the beard.
Power it through. Send some of that channeling to your beard hair and just say, hey, man, let it grow. Let it grow.
I got to talk to the hair. I got to think into the hair and tell it.
That's right. That's right. Oh, T-Bone.
How much time
I'm
do we
just
have
being
left?
130 pounds and wearing bell bottoms. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, I love my audience.
Hey, Dave, how are we looking for the time left for this first break?
We got about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Be right back. I'm going to hydrate.
All right. All right. How cool is he? I like him. Good energy, this dude, man. Good energy. Just want to see something here. Give me 2 seconds, guys. There it is. Okay, we got about 1.5 minutes. Boondock, how are you? Nice to see you, my man. Thurston Howell III. How's Lovey? Give us an update. If you haven't already, we would appreciate if you're listening in on the YouTube side. Give us a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit subscribe, ring that bell. We are here 7 days a week for your make that 5 days a week for your listening entertainment. Monday through Friday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. We try and get 100 thumbs up per show. Helps with the algorithms. So if you haven't already, listen to Jules in the chat room, because you don't want any hobos nipping at your toes if you didn't give a thumbs up. Ain't that right, Jules? Thank you tonight to T-Bone for our lone super chat. Thank you to Flat Six for becoming a member once again on our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. And we're going to be coming back here in about 20 seconds. Felipe, how are you, my man? All right, 10 seconds, buddy. Good timing.
Right. Yeah, perfect. I have the computer going so I can hear your time marks.
Good. All right, here we go. Let's kick off the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're talking tonight. I'm going to call this guy a new friend, Tyler Ellison. I like him. I like him a lot. Yeah, this guy knows his stuff. And we're going to get into some channeling, some spirituality, some aliens. We're going to get into a lot here coming up. This half hour is jam-packed. But before we bring him on, we're a reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, always check our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here's Tyler Ellison. Right before the break, I had asked you a question, Tyler, because a lot of people try to hide their spirituality, that everything is peace, love, and light, and, of course, fresh buns every morning with a glass of iced tea. Okay? I mean, that's just the way it goes. The cup of coffee, it reminds me of Facebook. Remember back in the day of Facebook and Instagram where the most exciting thing was people taking pictures of the plate of food that they have? That's the way I look at common spirituality these days. But a lot of people don't talk about the fact that it is very yin and yang. You're going to get the positive, you're going to get the negative, and you're also going to get some that's a little bit in between. How has that progressed for you? Have you ever gone through the yin and yang of it all?
Absolutely. And to get started, I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. The big reason why in mainstream spirituality there's this sort of fixation on love and light as the overall nature of the spiritual experience is because in America, spirituality is a type of commodity, right? It's sort of bought and sold. It's a product. And if you're going to be telling people, hey, this meditation series, it'll awaken your divine connection, but it's also going to cause you to face 30 years of repression, and most people might think twice about getting it. But if you just hear the nice part, oh, this is going to awaken you, it's going to be so beautiful and amazing, of course there's going to be an attraction to it. It sounds like a miracle. It sounds like an elixir, water in the desert, so people are going to flock to it. And also, too, there's a big, and I have no ill feelings about this religion, but there is sort of this Christian background energy field surrounding, America and Europe as well. That field might not be as powerful as it once was, as people are becoming a little less religious, but the conditionings that are a part of those systems, that very much is a factor that I think people are still dealing with. And I think a side effect culturally with those systems is this emphasis on purity, this sort of hyperfixation on being pure. The Old Testament's full of purification rituals, for example. So what does that look like in our modern times? Right? People sort of virtue signaling, people trying to look their best, people trying to sort of posture. And really what they're doing is they're hiding a dimension of themselves whenever they're doing that. And it's sort of just puffing out the ego's feathers rather than revealing the authentic soul light that's inside. But I think that's why the sort of shadow side to spirituality is not talked about. If it was talked about, there'd be less people buying spiritual products. And also, too, people want to appear perfect because they were taught that that's what was required of them when they were young, perhaps in school or for their parents. So those are some of the reasons why that sort of behavior, you could say, persists in our culture today, from my estimation, from my experience.
I want you to tell me
Yeah.
if I'm right or wrong here. I live in a spiritual little town of about 2,500. And it's really weird because half the population works in the logging industry, and they're just big, tough, gruff people, who are five senses people who literally see weird things out in the forest when they're out there. Okay. But the other half, there's a lot of spiritual people in my town. Okay. And a lot of people will come up to me and they will say, hey, how do you deal with this situation? Because I'm very open with my high strangeness. I don't try and hide anything. People come up to me, and I believe it's Sasquatch. I go looking for Sasquatch. I do a ghost tour at my local museum. I'm the paranormal guy in town. So a lot of times people will come up to me and say, hey, how do you deal with this situation spiritually? How do you deal with that situation spiritually? And the one thing that I've noticed, it's twofold, actually. Number one, somebody will grab your message, but then they will go take the messages of 10, 12 other people. I'm exaggerating on the number here a little bit, but let's say 3 or 4 or 5 other people, and they'll mix all those messages together and be right where they started right at the end. They haven't advanced at all. Or number two, I find that a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you need to get this sodalite, or you need to get this lapis lazuli, or you need to, get some black salt and sprinkle it 3 times a day over your head while you're chanting kumbaya. I mean, we see all of this kind of going on, and I'm looking at the price of some of these crystals. They're ridiculous. I'm not telling anybody to go spend, $48 on a piece of whatever kind of crystal it is, right? I try and tell people, you don't need that. Yes, it's fun. Do I have crystals in my studio here? I got a few. Most of them have been donated to me. People just say, hey, I wanted you to have this, but I do have about a 15-pound ball of sodalite. That's really kind of cool. And it helps me. I've got sodalite on my microphone because allegedly it helps with depression, anxiety, and left-handed people who are creative. And I got all 3. That's a bingo for me, man. A bingo. But the point that I'm getting at is a lot of people are looking for crutches. To me, crystals are crutches. Tea leaf readings are crutches. Psychic readings are crutches. We have all of these crutches that we are that we think we need in this new age spirituality to get ourselves to that higher point of Zen and Chi and our chakras all aligned. But in the end, we're forgetting that prior to all of this new age spirituality, it was all about mind, body, and soul, meditation, communication. So am I wrong in telling these people that you don't need to go spend that $85 on a lapis lazuli orb, or you don't need to go spend that $28 on a new charm bracelet? It's not necessary. Keep your messages to yourself. Keep your circle tight. Then learn. Am I wrong about that, or am I missing something?
I think you're on the money with it. And I don't think it's comfortable for people to receive that because they're so used to putting the solution outside of themselves. They're almost trained from childhood to repeat that process of, I have a problem, solutions out there. And that comes from the big advertising influence that I think we've all been exposed to. So what we're seeing is people repeating the programming of marketing strategists like this. So letting people know, hey, you have the inner technology. You have a crystalline skeleton. Skeleton's not entirely crystal, but there's crystalline dimensions to it. Letting people know that the most powerful technology is within them and giving them a process to access that's real. That is the highest gift. And I think it saves people from a type of tangential path, because that same person who's putting their solution in the crystals, they're also going to put their solutions in other things, right? It might evolve from crystals into like drugs. It might evolve from drugs into all types of different directions, trying to fit in with different people, trying to appear a certain way, trying to acquire a possession that appears to solidify status, right? You can substitute that crystal purchase for like any other thing people are using as a crutch. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So yeah, I think talking people out of that is good. I don't think we gotta, beat them over the head and be like, you don't need it. Go within. But it's important to remind people, connect with your inner technology. And if you're still called to work with the crystals or the singing bowls or the chanting, then absolutely work with it. But don't work with it from a place of codependence, because you are the only thing that can save you. You are the only thing that
I
can.
love that answer. I love that answer. And I think you're right. The codependence of it all, like I walk into a gem shop and they'll be like, well, have you burned this incense and chanted to this crystal in your hand? And I'll be like, you don't need it. You need to stop. And the ladies who own the crystal store, they come to me for advice. And I'm like, well, you deal with this every day. You deal with it. You need to block people from trying to read you all the time, because you're probably getting 20, 30 readings a day from clients. Just calm it down, relax, enjoy it. Enjoy what's going on. I do want to ask you, though, okay, about your own yin and yang. What are some of the difficulties that you had? Did you lose friends? Did you lose financial backing? Did the phenomena take you down paths that were very lonely and desolate at times? Give us an example.
Sure. It's a really good question. And absolutely, I'm glad we're getting into it, because the yin-yang dynamic to the spiritual process is a genuine dynamic. And as we raise our frequency, as we increase our awareness of the light, when you think of the yin-yang symbol, it's like we're moving into the light half of that yin-yang Tai Chi symbol. And inside that light half, there's a dark circle. So eventually, as we expand into the light through the spiritual awakening, through the spiritual process, we enter in to that dot of yin, that little portal within the light that brings us into the dark half of the yin-yang Tai Chi symbol. This is the yin half of the sphere. And this is where we are confronted with our shadow, the things we don't like to acknowledge about ourselves, maybe the opinions that other people had about us. Maybe we've taken them on and we're storing them within that yin sort of shadowy level. But as we transform that which is in the shadow half through love, through compassion, and through intelligence, we begin to access that dot of yang within the yin half. And eventually we enter into it, and it teleports us to the other side of the Tai Chi symbol, back into the light. As you become more masterful in navigating the light half and dark half, your consciousness expands to become the yin-yang symbol. So it's no longer a polarity or a duality. In terms of the experience, now it is a type of integrated experience where positive, negative, light, dark, and neutral are all experienced at the same time. So for me, the challenges that I've had to deal with, you, I think, named a few of them. I mean, I've had friend loss from this. And to talk about the friend loss, it's not as if there were like, powerful conflicts between me and old friends. In some cases, there were. I've had some business relationships in the past that, didn't go so well. Just me and the other person sort of butting heads. And that was a friendship before it was a business partnership. And, through the butting of heads, me and that close friend sort of explored our shadows together. And the departure was, not as I would have preferred it, I think, ultimately. I'd rather people stay friends and grow together. So when there's separations, it's painful. But certainly, I've lost friends. I've also grown to see that people that I thought were friends maybe had some other things going on, and that's also a painful thing. So I've had some relationship loss from this, but I've also had that which has left. I've had that be returned to me through new relationships, new friendships that are way healthier, that are like way more positive and are totally open to this kind of metaphysical path. So I got to see that which needed to go, even though it hurt, even though it was painful. I've had some business partnerships as well that were like really prosperous. And the spiritual practice at the time for me was really yin in nature. I was going really deep into that shadow dimension of the reality. And I behaved in a way that sort of sabotaged this like really amazing situation. And, I saw it as a really devastating loss. I felt very ashamed. I felt foolish. I was like, holy shit, this was just me being so holy cow, this is just me being so full of myself. And when that business partnership left, when that money left, new ones were formed. And they were even more aligned with my values, even more aligned with my path. And I had also matured to a point where I could handle way more humbly that type of arrangement, where I think the previous one, my ego is too puffed up. So yes, I've had powerful lessons, sort of shadowy lessons, painful lessons that have been a part of this. Some of them my own doing, and I've had to, mature and level up. And some of it side effect of outgrowing certain relationships or situations. So we're always going to go back and forth between the light and the dark. Whenever there's like the positive expansion, remember that light that is the expansion will cast a shadow. So eventually the shadow of the experience will be something we have to go through. But as we go through those shadow processes more skillfully, the shadow is not suffering. The shadow becomes a walk in the valley or a walk under the canopy in the forest. And as you go from light and dark, they eventually start to become different qualities of the same dimension, the same experience.
All right. I want to get to Ryoka. Ryoka is the being that you channel. And tell us about Ryoka.
So Ryoka is a hybrid extraterrestrial entity. So what that means is genetically, he's related to us. Our human species is a genetic contributor to him and his people. And he is also the genetic result of the species known as the Greys, the small Greys and the tall Greys, which I'm sure your listeners have heard about. So he is a genetic blending of these two genetic lineages, humanity and the Grey beings. His people, they are a futuristic hybrid species. So they describe themselves as being outside of our timeline. They're from their own timeline. Their position in that timeline is more future-based. If we were to compare our positions in our timelines, we're more in the past, they're more in the future. Their technology has allowed for them to bypass the limits of their own timeline. So now they're able to see more into what we might call the multiverse or the fifth dimension, where there are many timelines, many realities, all taking place at the exact same time. So our timeline, this very specific one that we're all experiencing, this is one of the many timelines that Ryoka and his people, the Sasani people, have been making contact with. So it's more, as you can see, it's more than just ET contact. If we follow these connections far enough, we're interacting with beings whom aren't bound to space-time like we are, and they're able to hop from one space-time equation, one timeline to another. They can kind of surf it like you would surf channels on the TV. So his view is very helpful because it's more of an outside view. It's almost like there's a crystal ball with our universe inside. We're in that crystal ball, sort of experiencing it, boots on the ground. It's almost like he's outside of it, looking at the ball, and can zoom in to any reality within it. So I find his view is very helpful for a lot of people, especially if they feel stuck, if they feel limited, they can't really see outside of their situation. And I think for a lot of humans, that's a very collective feeling, in terms of how society is going, in terms of what people are considering the major issues of our day and our times. So he is very helpful for expanding past those limiting viewpoints. His main focus, metaphysics, ascension, human awakening, the decoding of ancient symbols. He oftentimes will decode people's dreams. And he also is bit by bit contextualizing the ET contact narrative and the spiritual awakening. So his teachings are meant to guide us through this evolutionary process so we can ultimately maximize it and not miss the opportunity.
how long have you been channeling him, and where is he from?
Sure. So I have been channeling Rayoka since about 2017. It really picked up in 2019. That's when I started sharing his teachings on the internet. So once people started hearing his messages, it really picked up. And that's when I had people coming for sessions. They wanted to speak to him. But I practiced channeling, and specifically channeling him and his people, for about 2 years before I ever started promoting the material. And before 2017, I had been practicing channeling regularly. My focus was on Pleiadian beings. It wasn't until 2017 where I had a UFO encounter. It was a triangular UFO. This was in Connecticut. I had a few friends with me too, and it was amazing because we got to see this together. And I, of course, was a believer in UFOs. So I was like, oh my God, guys, do you see it? Like, it's happening. And these friends, they weren't really into this. They kind of entertained it a little bit, but it really opened their eyes and was a powerful, captivating moment. And I will never forget the way I felt during that experience. And that was actually what got me to channel Rayoka. So his ship was the one that I saw. It was shortly after having that contact experience in Connecticut that I began to connect with his society, his civilization more. I recognize that ship specifically as one from his civilization. And his civilization is the Sasani or the Sasanian civilization. So they're not necessarily in our timeline. They're in their own timeline, and it runs parallel to this one. And this description that's been given of their world, if we were to try to access it from our universe, from our timeline, it would be proximal to the Orion star system. So they're not necessarily from Orion, but that direction in the night sky is where their home star is for their solar system.
How easy is it for you to channel? Like, is he always right there, like
Yeah.
a spirit guide, or is it something that you got to get into meditation and warm up for?
So I will usually, when I'm channeling for other people, I'll take a minute, sort of close my eyes and relax. Because if I have maybe some pent up energy, or maybe there's like some tension or stress, it might make it a little challenging to fluently translate and speak his words. So I'll usually take a few minutes to kind of quiet everything down. And then from there, it's a matter of resonating. So people at home can try this if they like, but to resonate with another being, we're really just expanding our empathy. And I describe empathy as being able to see reality from another person's shoes, being open to their perspective, to their experience, even if we don't agree with it, even if it's very different. Doesn't mean we have to take it on as like our truth, but we want to be open to one another in that way. And for telepathy, that empathy is essential. So I will quiet everything down, and I'll sort of ask myself the question, what does an ET feel like? What would it feel like to be an extraterrestrial? How would an extraterrestrial operate a human body? Like, how would they drive this? I know how I drive the human body, but how would like an ET drive it? How would an ET look at things? How would an ET listen to things? When we start to ask those open-ended questions, there's a feeling behind the innate answer that our nervous system and body produces. And if we lean into those different feeling states that are kind of the answer to those questions, we'll actually start to resonate with extraterrestrial consciousness. So our imagination is the gateway for that. So this process I'm describing here, this is about maybe like 20 seconds. I don't necessarily need that process. I can just like spontaneously bring him in, but the process is helpful, helps my Tyler personality sort of relax and go into the background, and that creates the space for his personality and his energy to come into the foreground. So the more of a process I engage in before I channel, usually the stronger that shift is. If I just jump into it, there still might be a little bit of, me present in the experience.
We have about 35 seconds to go before we have to go to break. When you start to channel, are we going to be able to ask questions for
Certainly.
Rayoka?
Yeah. And you can ask those questions, Dave. And if your audience wants to type questions in and then you ask them to Rayoka while I'm in the trance, absolutely, we can do that.
We're definitely going to be doing that. We are definitely going to be doing that. I'm excited about this. We're going to channel Rayoka the alien next with Tyler Ellison on Spaced Out Radio. Now, we've had the woo dial at about 7. We're about to go to 10 and a half, 11 in hour number 2. This is exciting, people. Let's have some fun. Tyler Ellison is our guest. Make sure you check out his website, galacticguide.com. This is Spaced Out Radio.
Awesome.
With host Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. We have about 5.5 minutes. So you get yourself warmed up, you get yourself prepped. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to put you in the green room, okay?
Awesome. Sounds great,
right.
Dave.
Here's my schedule up for you guys to see me, and we'll be right back. All right, I am back. And big thank you tonight to T-Bone and to Benno for the super chats. Big thank you to, I believe it was, yes, Flat Six, renewing his membership to our YouTube channel. Jessica Davenport, nice to see you. And Caged on the Inside, good to have you here. Good job, Vamp. Good job. Day 9. We're proud of you. Very proud of you. Anybody else hop in here? Contrary One, how you doing? Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithms. And shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so make sure you check it on out. All right. And we're almost good to go here. Reminder to all of you, CaribouCon 2026, September 18th through 20th. Come up to the Caribou, see Grant Cameron, the ladies from Beyond the Haunting, myself, Samantha Mowat, Merle, Jake Rice, B. Arthur is going to be here. Yeah, Brent Thomas, and many more coming up at a great time. Here we go, everybody. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're always proud to have each and every one of you here as we roll on into hour 2 with Tyler Ellison. We are going to be channeling a being called Ryoka next. I'm so excited. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Faltuel. Faltuel is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. We bring in Tyler Ellison. We're going to have a good time with him tonight as we are about to channel a being called Ryoka, who's a gray being from around the Orion star system, and we're glad to have Tyler tonight. How you doing, Tyler?
Hey, doing great, Dave. Thanks so much for having me. And just a quick addition to the description of him. He's a hybrid extraterrestrial being, not quite gray. So there are some powerful differences there, and he can actually get into that a little bit if you guys like and are interested in learning about some of the different qualities that these species have.
All right. I'm ready when you are. You tell me when you're good to go.
Sounds great. So I'll enter into the state. It's just going to take me a few moments, so it might be a little quiet for those that are listening. But once the connection's made, it's going to be incredibly obvious. So he will directly speak through me. When he speaks through me, he usually has a message that he desires to share for those that are tuning in, for those that are a part of the communication. And once he's transmitted whatever that message is, we're going to open it up to the questions. So Dave, you can present your own questions to him. We can take questions that people submit as well, and we'll go until we're at the time for the break. So I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for creating the space for this to happen. I think it's so amazing that channeled entities now have a presence on the radio. I think that is a really incredible experience. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, you get warmed up, and I'll keep the audience going. Just give me a thumbs up when you are ready. You know, one of the things that I love about the channeling experience and talking to people who can channel is just you can actually at times see them, the person you're talking to, kind of not leave their body, but kind of move over and allow something else to kind of take over at this time. And to me, what makes it very interesting about it is the voice will change, the facial features will change. Okay, there will be a lot of really cool things that happen. And look, on the radio side, you can't really see it. That's why I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel or our X account to actually watch this episode, where you can kind of get a feeling for what it's like. A lot of people who are skeptical will say, oh, it's just him making up the messages in his head. That's not really the case, because you're literally in different ways. Like for me, when I had channeled in the past, you're literally, in my case, was reading messages that were being given within my head. It was kind of like closing my eyes and seeing like words being written on a blackboard to actually see what was going on and what I was supposed to allow out. Because when you're channeling, the one thing that I learned is if you as a human don't get out of the way and allow the spirit to kind of take you over, you literally will bring your own personal bias into those messages. And that's what you don't want to do. So it is a little bit of something you need to work on. And it would be very interesting to see it happen.
We thank you for creating this space, creating this energetic container that allows for our consciousness, our information, and our energy to enter in to your collective reality more greatly. I shall introduce myself, the name, if you will, that I have selected and adorned for convenience is the name Ryoka. In my civilization, in my society, we do not traditionally utilize names. Rather, we recognize one another through registering the unique signature frequency, the unique energy that each individual member of my society emanates. It's almost like recognizing one another based on the energetic resonance and quality that the relationship that you share with them produces. We are genetically related to you. You are genetically related to us. My species was brought into existence through the generosity that your people demonstrated. As you know, there is the UFO abduction phenomenon. And in that process, many people report having genetic information sort of extracted or taken from them. This information, this DNA, has been used to produce a variety of different hybrid species. My people, the Sasanian people, are one of these hybrid species. Without your gift, we would not exist. So you have, in a sense, given us life. We see you as our ancestors in that way. And when we share information with you, when we share energy and consciousness with you, it activates the DNA within your system. Your DNA begins to vibrate at a faster frequency, at a higher frequency, and it actually allows for you to resonate with us. It is the communication from genome to genome that is actually responsible for the contact process. So contact experiences are usually summoned forth. They are usually manifested through genetic resonance. So we thank you for being you. We thank you for creating this great awakening that is taking place on your planet. Remember, the spiritual awakening happens through humanity. It doesn't happen to humanity. You are the channels for the higher spirit. You are the avatars of the source. It is your people that brings the spiritual dimension into physical reality. So you are the ones producing your own ascension. And because all realities anchor in to physical reality, through that process, your ascension uplifts the entire structure of the existence. Through your people awakening other species throughout the cosmos that are entangled with your reality are able to more easily go through their awakening. And in that way, all civilizations across the cosmos rise together. And it is through your decision, your choice to be yourself, to follow your passion and your path, that this ascension is made possible. Thank you for being here and now. How are you on this night?
Prayoka, how are you? I'm Dave.
Greetings. I am delighted to exist, and of course, I am delighted to co-create with you in this way.
There are so many questions that people have, and I'm going to be asking you questions from our audience listening in. But before we do that, I would love for you to explain you, where you live. What do you look like? How do you communicate from so far away?
Sure. So we will address each of these ideas. With regards to where I live, I spend most of my time aboard my craft. My spacecraft is usually above the location that you describe as Mount Kailash. However, in recent times, I have ventured to other power locations on your planet for a variety of purposes. One of those other power locations that I will use as a type of energy anchor for my craft is your Mount Shasta. So many extraterrestrial craft are energetically anchored to the power locations, the power portals of Earth, and through the resonation of the craft with the power center, the craft is able to stabilize itself and is able to operate as a type of extension of the planet without actually having to physically land on it. In terms of what I look like, I have silverish skin. It is similar to yours, although there is a slightly more crystalline quality to mine. In terms of my physicality, I am quasi-physical in nature. So what this means is I can present in a physical way if desired. However, I exist in a type of multi-dimensional state that is sort of half physical, half non-physical. Many of you experience this state of consciousness when you are lucid dreaming. That is my usual state of consciousness, and this allows for me to be able to densify and physicalize my body at will. It also allows for me to de-densify and dematerialize my body at will. And of course, our craft possess the same qualities, the same abilities. In terms of my height, I am approximately 5'6". Members of my species are usually between 5 foot and 6 foot. We are rather short, if you will, compared to the many heights that you have on Earth. I am bald. I do not have hair on my head. My eyes are larger. They are not black. There are still whites to my eyes. I have a pupil, an iris. So they are similar to yours, just larger. And they are more energetically activated. So you talk about eyes being the windows to the soul and the gaze of another being a captivating type of experience. That effect is increased for members of my people.
How many times have you visited Earth?
Many times. And my journeys to Earth are not limited to your modern times. When I observe Earth, it is as if I am able to see the timeline of Earth, past, present, future. Even though I spend my time aboard the craft, my consciousness and the consciousness of the craft, because our craft are alive, they are sentient, together we are able to project into these various positions of the Earth timeline. So we have explored Earth in the ancient past. We have also explored the future Earths that are birthed from your present moment equation. So my craft is anchored above the mountains, and from there I am able to visit Earth many times across the timeline. So one trip to Earth can translate as 1,000 visitations across the Earth timeline.
Are you ready for some questions from our audience?
Sure. We are ready to take questions.
All right. Are you, let's start off with our friend T-Bone here. The one that you have, you channel through Tyler, but have you ever chatted with other humans, say somebody who is a channeler as well, like Edgar Casey or other people?
I have made contact with other humans. When I appear to others, I will sometimes take on a form that is more acceptable to their perception, that is more acceptable to their belief systems. So there are humans who have interacted with me who didn't necessarily notice I was quote unquote extraterrestrial in nature. There are other humans whom are open to extraterrestrial energies. And for those humans, I have appeared as myself in a more direct way. The idea is the channel has a particular connection with me. In a certain sense, I am his future self. And through this dynamic, we are able to resonate in such a way where my consciousness can express in your reality through words. For other people, because there is less of a direct connection, deep telepathy and channeling is available, but is somewhat limited in nature. These other people, they have their own extraterrestrial counterparts or guides whom they are co-evolving with. My appearance to another human will usually act as a catalyzing moment, so they begin to reach out and expand, so they are able to achieve contact with those personal guides that they possess.
Are you normally in our timeline, or can you hop through other dimensional timelines?
I can hop through other dimensional timelines whilst my craft is still anchored to your world.
All right.
I am able, of course, to disentangle from the Earth experience, and I can more directly travel into these other timelines through accessing a type of fifth dimensional space. However, if I were to do that now, my relationship with Earth may diminish, and right now my major role is guiding humanity, guiding Earth through the contact process.
All right, let's go to our next question. Zaddy is asking, how can I manifest anything I want?
The key is to recognize that your physical reality is a dream. And while that may sound perhaps metaphorical, let us look at the nature of physical reality in this moment. What you perceive as physical form is nothing more than an illusion created through a vibrating energy field. So everything you're interacting with is an energy field pretending to be physical. The other thing to recognize is that the reality is alive with consciousness. Your people's most ancient spiritual belief system, animism. This is the belief that everything, even objects, possessed a spirit, possessed consciousness. This is true, for you have never experienced anything outside of your own consciousness. The very words that I am hearing are signals assembled by your nervous system. You are not actually hearing these words directly. You're not actually seeing anything directly. You're not really touching anything directly. You are interfacing with the signals produced by your nervous system. You're experiencing all of that from within your own consciousness. So recognize the reality is alive. The reality is responding to you. The reality is co-creating with you. The key to manifesting anything you desire resides within your ability to make a shift in your identity, a shift in your perspective. The perspective of the past self is the one who says, I am without X, Y, and Z experience, therefore I desire it, so I will go out into the world to realize that desire. The identity shift takes place when the desire is manifested. Now you are the one with the desire. Now you are the one having the experience. Now you are the one embodying the manifestation that is the result of that desire. So that shift in identity is not something you have to wait for. It's actually something you can produce now. When you imagine the manifestation connected to your desire, maybe it's a new car, maybe it's a new relationship, maybe it's extraterrestrial contact, whatever it is, hold that desire as an image in your mind's eye, like a little cinematic. And notice the feelings, the emotions that that desire appears to produce. Maybe you meditate on the new car and you find that there is a feeling of excitement, a feeling of joy, a feeling of empowerment that is behind the desire. You don't have to wait until you achieve the manifestation to feel those things. Feel them now. Assume the new identity now. The new identity takes new actions. They do not take the actions of the one without. They take the actions of the one whom has received and experienced the manifestation. So your actions will begin to shift towards the realization of that desire. They will shift more holistically the more of the future self's energy you take on. If you live the lifestyle of the old self, the new realities will seem further and further away. But as you shift your focus, your values, your beliefs, and your actions towards the nature of the future self, you will then shorten the distance vibrationally between your reality and that future reality. And that will allow for you to resonate more greatly with the future reality. And in some instances, it will appear instantaneously. There are psychic processes that can be used to accelerate this. There are energetic processes that can be used to accelerate this. But the very basics, create the shift in identity. Let your reality be fluid. Recognize it is responding to your consciousness and it is made of vibrating energy. That will help you.
2 minutes to go before we have to take a break here. I'm going to ask one more question here. And this one will come from Sarah, who is asking, is it possible to physically join with the parallel universe?
Yes. The idea is that as your species continues to raise its vibration, your universe, your timeline, will become more resonant with the neighboring universes and timelines that are also focusing on ascension, evolution, the giving and receiving of love, the sharing of gifts. Like attracts like, birds of a feather flock together. So as your frequency increases, you're going to become like these higher realities, these higher timelines, and they will begin to blend with yours. You will begin to blend with theirs, and a new unified universe and timeline shall be created that is more expansive, that is more multidimensional. You will experience that on Earth as your species going from more of a 4D focus to a higher focus that includes a physical awareness of the higher fifth dimensional realities. You are evolving into the higher perceptions of the universal structure.
All right. I think we may have time for one more. We got 1 minute.
All right.
Let's go to Jessica. Am I capable of safely navigating portals? We got about 1 minute.
Sure. The idea is allow for yourself to take on the energy qualities that you would like for the portal to amplify. So the portal is going to amplify the energies that you bring to it. So if you go through a portal, whilst the system is stressed, this may influence where the portal brings you. So take a moment to relax yourself, select the feelings you would like the portal to strengthen, and speak to the spirit of the portal, the intelligence that organizes it, and ask it to bring you where you would like to go. Co-create the experience with the portal. Your energy, your desire, your instruction is an integral part of that experience.
All right. On that note, we're going to get you to hold on. We're going to take a break. You get to take a little bit of a rest, Rayoka, which is okay. And we are going to have more audience questions. Now, we only have Rayoka and Tyler for another half an hour. We're going to try and get in as many questions as we can. If we don't get through them all, just know that we tried. This is Spaced Out Radio, channeling Rayoka. Coming up next, everybody, stay tuned.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
This is fantastic, man.
Oh, thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Your audience is asking cool questions. I can't remember them very well when I come out of the state, but while I'm in it, there's so much excitement behind his energy. So I know the questions are really resonating with him.
Perfect. This is great. This is great.
Have you had anyone channel on your show before?
It's been a while. It's been like a couple of years. So I'm loving it. I think this is just amazing.
Oh, me too, man. Yeah, it's very fun.
Question from Shogun here. What do you do when you're not in a body? Do you have an alien home and watch movies or stuff and hang out? I guess that would be for Rayoka. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, totally. Trying to personally answer that's also kind of entertaining too. There's a lot of fun to be had there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'm going to excuse myself for just a moment.
Yeah,
and then
we got about 3.5 minutes, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. I'll just take you out. There you go. How fun is this, guys? Javier, how you doing, buddy? Are you going to be at UFO Con next month? Do I get to hang out with you? Let me know. I hope so. I'm having fun here tonight, man. This is a lot of fun. Hey, guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor. Head on over to my new little project called Haunted 108. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram, X, TikTok. We're putting up some good videos, and I would love it if you guys gave me the opportunity to show you some of the hauntings and locations that we are doing here on Spaced Out Radio. And, well, Spaced Out Radio really doesn't have anything to do with it, but it's a new adventure for me. And I'm hoping that you guys go and enjoy it. We've made a few videos so far regarding it on Haunted 108. I guess I could play one. Do we have enough time? Oh, goodness. Probably should have done this a little bit earlier. No, I don't know if we'll have enough time. Emperor Penguin, good to see you. Thank you. Jeremy Jones, how you doing? We have about 2 minutes. At the next break, I will show you guys really cool video. Really cool video. I'm going to test something out here. 1 second. I'm going to test something out. That way you guys can tell me. All right. I want you to tell me if you can hear this. Just bear with me because I have to get everything. Stop already. Just stop. Pause. Hold on. Let's go like this. Share screen. Facebook share. There we go. Tell me if you hear this. Captain Geoffrey Lancelot Watson was a young British officer and veteran of the Boer War when he purchased 1,000 acres in 108 Mile Ranch for just $11,000. Standing 6.5 feet tall, he was known as an expert horseman, a superb. Were you guys able to hear that? Okay, I'm going to play that video for you coming up here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We got 30 seconds to go. Big thank you tonight to Shogun, Benno, and T-Bone for the super chats. And we are going to say thank you to Flat Six for renewing his membership. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. All right. Here we go, everybody. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We are channeling Rayoka tonight on the show, which is absolutely amazing, through Tyler Ellison. If you haven't caught the last half hour, you're definitely going to want to check that out on our archives. Let's bring Tyler right back in here. Tyler, is Rayoka still with you?
Yes. I'm just going to close my eyes and we can actually pick right back up with the live stream.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
All right. Enjoy.
All right. Rayoka, let us know when you're ready. This is going to be so exciting. I am loving this. Just loving this. Hopefully he doesn't scare the heck out of me this time.
We thank you for continuing with us, the dialogue, the conversation. We are so thrilled to be here, and at your leisure, we can continue with the taking of questions and the sharing of ideas.
All right. Shogun is asking, Rayoka, what do you do when you're not in a body? Do you have an alien home, watch movies and stuff? Do you hang out with friends?
We watch all of you for our entertainment, for our movies, and of course, we are also able to peer into the many realities that are connected to sentient civilizations throughout the cosmos. So, just as you have on your planet the astral projection skill, my people also have developed this skill as a natural extension of our species' evolution. So, at will, I am able to extend my mind beyond the body, beyond my craft, and I am able to perceive many realities simultaneously, almost like different rooms in a house, and I possess the ability to walk through those different rooms. The realities sort of blend together, a type of kaleidoscopic experience. I can also focus on one reality at a time if needed, and I'm able to do this from the comfort of my craft. The technological bodysuit that I wear and the technology of the craft itself assist my consciousness in being able to create such experiences. The bodysuit that I wear is vibrationally tuned to the resonant frequency of my home world. My home world acted as the physical home for my people when we were evolving through the physical stages of our evolutionary process. We have since those times become spacefaring because our bodysuits and craft resonate perfectly with our home world. It's like we never left. So no matter where I go within the universe, it is as if I am always home. So in terms of friends, my species is telepathically connected, which means at any time we are able to reach out to other members of my civilization. And this allows for us to share ideas, to share energy, to share experiences, to share a mind across vast distances. For us, space and time are less physical. They're more dreamlike qualities in our reality, and they're more malleable. Through our technology and our consciousness, we are able to shift the frequency of space and time itself, allowing for us to access realities that you would describe as past realities or future realities. This can be done through the powers of consciousness as a type of spiritual, astral, projective experience, and this can also be achieved physically.
All right, let's move on to another question Let's go to T-Bone here, who is asking, Rayoka, why not just land in a park and tell it like it is? Disclose all.
So we have attempted this before, and it did not go as smoothly as many humans would have preferred. So our presence creates an awakening experience within those whom observe us. The channel's relationship with me really got started when he physically observed my craft. And now his entire life has become this. So just seeing the craft, just becoming conscious of our presence creates powerful awakening experiences. Our craft landing and my people physically interacting with you will create tremendous awakenings, many of them spontaneous. So some awakenings create feelings of beauty, feelings of completion, feelings of love. Other awakenings can be more challenging. You have used the terminology on your planet, the dark night of the soul. Some awakenings are uncomfortable, and they eventually become empowering experiences through navigating those shadowy energies and evolving them into energies that are beautiful, into energies that are of service, and into energies that ultimately represent your gifts that you are here to share with others. So all darkness that is discovered can be transformed into light and into gifts of service. And that process of transformation, as many of you know, takes time. Now imagine positive and negative awakenings happening simultaneously, many of them all at once, and those evolutionary processes, they're sort of accelerated. Physically interacting with us would be like an update. It would cause your consciousness to change. It would cause your energy field to change. It will even cause the surface of your planet to change a little bit. So that can be turbulent. That can be uncomfortable. So what we have chosen to do instead is to guide your people from a distance through interactions like this and through your spiritual awakening process. As you elevate your frequency, as you evolve yourselves into the beings you were born to be, you will then reach a level of maturation and responsibility where you as a people can be the initiators of contact. You can tell us you are ready. You can tell us it is time, and we will appear. We will reveal ourselves. So it's not that we're waiting on you, but we are guiding you. We are evolving with you. So that way our energies are more similar. That way, when physical contact happens, the updating that we described, it won't be so jarring. It won't be so instantaneous. You will be able to stabilize your energies, and you will be able to resonate with us at a higher level in a manner that is much more manageable for your people. Remember, contact will change many things. So it is important that you create the shifts that are needed within your own lives and collectively that can allow for that experience to really take place. That is the direct physical contact.
Tyler's vessel, this comes from Terry. Tyler's vessel stated he became aware of you after seeing a craft. What powers it, and what is its means of propulsion?
Sure. So you have heard on your world of the 0-point energy, sometimes described as scalar energy. This energy is generated and is channeled through the technologies that are a part of the craft. We utilize crystalline forms of technology to act as amplifying scaffoldings. So this 0-point energy can be communicated to the various systems that are a part of the craft and can uniquely empower those systems. This 0-point energy is the result of the amplification of electromagnetic fields. As electromagnetic fields are sufficiently amplified, the nucleus of the electromagnetic field acts as a type of zero-point energy gateway. When the electromagnetic field is energized appropriately, it creates a toroidal form. This toroidal form in its center has a zero-point access portal. All forms have some degree of electromagnetic power and connection, even if it is not physical. Electromagnetism exists on many levels. Your bodies are also generators of electromagnetic energy. Your aura is a toroidal field. The nucleus of that toroidal field is your heart. So within you is a portal to this spiritual zero-point energy. It's the energy behind your life. It is the energy behind your consciousness. So when you think of the very energy that animates a spirit, you're working with the zero-point energies. So our craft channel and generate this energy. The crystalline organization amplifies it and directs it. And this allows for us to resonate on many levels with the various dimensions and densities of the universe. And it's that resonation with those levels that allows for our craft to teleport. Our craft might appear as if they are traveling from point A to point B, but for us, for our experience within the craft, we are literally disappearing from one location. We are appearing in another. It is the zero-point energy that allows for that resonation across space and time to take place.
Let's get to another question here. Let us go to Hillbilly Herb. Herb is asking, Ryoka, I have an elderly gray hybrid looking woman appear as I was falling asleep. She touched both sides of my head and said, am I interrupting? Any idea who this could have been?
So there are connections, relationships that you have that are related to parallel lifetimes that are existing simultaneously with this lifetime and this now moment that you are a part of. In those other parallel realities, your consciousness may express as another person. That other person may have a family, they may have friends, they may have a job or a role. Your spirit acts as the connective tissue that links your consciousness to all of these other parallel lifetimes. You might call them your past lives, you might call them your future lives. In those alternate lifetimes, those parallel lifetimes, where the focus was more psychic and non-physical in nature, many of the beings there have developed their psychic skills, their psychic awareness. As a result, they are able to actually extend their consciousness across those many realities that simultaneously exist, and they can make contact with you. So this is an elder. This elder is connected to the Orion system. The Orion elders act as wisdom keepers. They maintain a knowledge of cosmic history, and they embody the very virtue of wisdom itself. They broadcast these energies that are generated through the collective knowledge and experience to evolving civilizations, so that way the collective consciousness of the civilization has access to more information, more knowledge, and more energy to assist in the evolutionary processes the civilization is going through. So Earth is one of these civilizations, receiving wisdom codes from Orion. The evolution in Orion parallels in many ways the types of themes modern humans are going through. So your planet and the Orion system have a lot in common. And the elder councils of Orion know this. They are aware of the relationship between their people and Earth humans. So they extend that knowledge, they extend that wisdom to your world, to Earth, so you can evolve with greater ease. They wanted to make sure they weren't interrupting, because to interact with them directly, to resonate with them in a greater way, will activate many new pathways within your life. So they want to make sure that you are ready for such an acceleration. So that was their way of asking, are you ready? Are you ready to connect? Are you ready to expand? So I refer to them as a they because this one being represents an entire council. So all you need to do to interact with them is to ask the question, how would an extraterrestrial see this situation?
All right, let's go over to Nikki here. Why do you choose to communicate in the way you are now?
It's one of the most direct ways to get my message across. It is also a way that allows for me to evolve my consciousness through interacting with the channel. In this way, I am accessing the many relationships that he is involved with. He has his relationship to his family, to his community, to all of you here. Through my consciousness resonating with him, I am able to access that collective human consciousness network. And I'm able to experience Earth in a multidimensional way through the perspectives, through the experiences of everyone that is evolved and involved through this co-creation. If I were to communicate through a technology, instead of accessing the human collective consciousness, I would actually be accessing the technological collective consciousness, which does exist, and there are beings that manifest within that collective level. Your AIs are sort of an extension of that technological collective consciousness. So if I were interacting with you all through computers, I wouldn't really be interacting with your human collective consciousness directly. Coming through a person like this allows for my energy transmissions to be translated into English. It allows for you to receive the messages very directly. You are also able to see the types of effects that this energy has on human consciousness. As you can see, it sort of levels up many qualities about the channel. So that is a representation of some of the effects that are created through resonation with my energy.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Let's go to Matthew here. Do you use Tyler to understand Earth like language, measurement, or art?
Yes, absolutely. Many of his early educational experiences and his diverse areas of focus were a type of blended manifestation. I had the desire to explore many of these diverse fields of interest, and so did he. So our unique motivations were able to amplify one another. So he has learned a great deal. As a result, I have learned a great deal. When he acquires certain knowledge or certain skills, I am also able to pick up on that, and the same is the case for myself. So we are co-evolving together, and we will use the experiences that the other has to assist in that evolutionary process.
All right, let's move on to another one here. Let's go to, I want to try and get somebody who hasn't asked a question yet. AZOAZ. How about the subatomic UFOs in our bodies? What are these about?
So the idea is that consciousness can manifest upon any density level that exists within the creational structure. So these subatomic spaces, and beneath this, the quantum spaces, these are density levels that consciousness can incarnate into and can project into. So within the subatomic spaces, there are beings, there are civilizations that play a role within the grand story of the existence. And what they do in their reality has an influence and has an effect with regards to what happens in your physical reality experience. Just as what you do in your physical reality experience has an effect on the experiences had upon the subatomic level and the quantum level. So you are supporting one another, your people, and the various beings that exist within these various levels. So all things are made of you. All things are an extension of your consciousness. What this means is you also exist upon every level within the creational structure. The entire structure is made of your fundamental consciousness. So you will find that you have a parallel self that exists upon each of these levels, and you can tap into them at will.
All right, let's continue on here with our questions. We only got about 3 minutes left, so I'm going to only ask one more question here from our audience. And this one will come from, let's see here. Let me see. Oh, there's so many to choose from. I should just grab one. Let's go to Shogun here. Or pardon me, Paula, because she's brand new. Ryoka, can you describe your language?
So my language at this stage is telepathic and it is energetic in nature. It is the language of telepathy. So when my people were going through the physical stages of evolution, we did have a language. The language is similar to the Sanskrit that you have on Earth and some of your Middle Eastern languages, Egyptian, Sumerian. However, our language, of course, is our own. It's not necessarily from Earth, but because we possess your DNA, because we are in many ways the result of your genetic contributions, we maintain many human characteristics, and human language is an extension of human consciousness. So my species language that we developed mirrored that in many ways. Now we simply communicate through sharing multi-dimensional sensorial energy and information to one another. In other words, if I have something I'd like to communicate, I am able to create an energetic manifestation that contains that message. I can make it very vivid, I can make it very comprehensive, and I can then share that with one or many members of my civilization. And as they receive that energy, there is an instantaneous communication between myself and them. So we communicate through resonance. Through the resonant link, ideas are transmitted and instantaneous communication is realized.
See if we can sneak in one more. We got 1 minute to go here. All right. T-Bone is asking, is your craft bigger on the inside than the out?
Yes. You will find many extraterrestrial vehicles are like this. You will find that through the multidimensional technologies that are a part of the ET craft, the interior of the craft can be made to be incredibly large, way bigger than the actual apparent physical structure of the craft. These inner spaces that can be very expansive and very large can contain entire cities. Think of the shopping malls, the airports, the neighborhoods, all of the things that make up human society. That can be fit in to some of these craft.
Beautiful.
So different craft will allow for different capabilities.
Ryoka, thank you so much. If we could bring Tyler back here, we'd greatly appreciate it.
All right. We thank you for this opportunity to co-create. And as always, my species unconditional love and appreciation to all members of your people.
Ryoka and Tyler and Ellison, everybody. Spaced Out Radio's Hour 3 is coming up next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
That was awesome, my man.
Hey,
Completely
thanks so
awesome.
much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We got to cover some amazing topics, and I hope that this information that was shared really was able to validate and
Oh, yeah.
expand some of the ideas and experiences that the listeners had.
My friend, we are going to do this again. That was way too much fun.
Oh, excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
I
Yeah,
hope we did you some justice tonight too.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you expand on that?
Well, I hope we were good for you too.
Oh, totally. Absolutely, man. This was a whole lot of fun. And it's midnight here, so it's 2 now, but doing this at midnight has such a special feeling to it. I think about being a kid and having to stay up late for something really exciting. So there's a lot of cool energy that's come from this.
All right, my friend, I'm going to let you get to bed. I got another hour to do. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Hey, sounds great, Dave. Have
Tyler,
a fantastic night.
Take care. Tyler Ellison, everybody. I love that guy. I love him. We have Robin Haynes in the background. We'll be right back, everybody. All right. I am back. Let's bring in Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good. I'm going to play Swamp Dweller. Swamp Dweller will be just under 3 minutes. And then we're going to get into my new project, Haunted 108, a video that I'm going to play.
Sounds good.
This will be good. This will be fun. Have you had a good week?
I have. How about yourself?
It's not been too bad. I had a bad headache on yesterday, but had a good sleep and got rid of that pretty quick.
We've got another energy shift coming, so you may have some more.
Oh, yay.
I know, that's what I said too.
All right, we got about 35 seconds. Big thank you tonight to Shogun ×2, Benno, and T-Bone for the super chats. We also want to say a big thank you to Flat 6 for rejoining our membership on YouTube. So thank you very, very much. And yeah, we're doing good tonight. It's a good night.
Good.
All right, we coming back in 10 seconds, Robin. I'm just going to mute you, okay?
Yep.
All right, this is the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's going to be jam-packed. We got Swamp Dweller, we got Robin Haynes, and a special video that I made, even though on YouTube you'll just hear the audio. Make that on the radio, you'll just hear the audio. We love it. We absolutely love being here. My name is Dave Scott, your host with the most tinfoil you've ever seen on a human being. And I want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You could follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Faltio is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I had an extremely disconcerting experience late in the winter last year. I, for context, live in an extremely isolated community. The forest stretches forever around us, and the next closest town is an hour or two away. It was late December, and I was out in the woods with my mother and telescope to try to catch a glimpse of Jupiter and Saturn in conjunction in the sky. The sun had just set. The snow was deep, and then we started to hear the screaming. It was this woman's voice just screaming for help. I couldn't even tell if it was human or animal at first, but eventually I could make out the words, "Help me." But it was all so animalistic. We called the police, and I went to go look for her and got totally lost. The snow was so deep and the trail seemed to just disappear in front of me. I was hearing her voice and yelling that help was coming, and to keep shouting so that I could find her. I know the area very well, and I know these trails like the back of my hand, but everything just melted away, and I felt as though I was almost being watched by something. The things get really weird at this point. I'm getting closer and closer. I hear another voice coming from that spot. I see a flash of a fox in my peripheral vision. I turn a corner and suddenly stop. This massive red fox is standing there, staring right into my soul. I swear its eyes were almost human. The snow was too deep to get around it, and I couldn't move, and this thing was just staring me down. I screamed at it and threw snow and sticks, but it just watched me, and I swear it could have opened its mouth and begun to speak. It wouldn't let me pass, at all. I've seen so many foxes here, but I swear to God, something was different about this one, in a disconcertingly protective way. It was like he knew me, and I knew him. Then the 911 operator called me, so I could guide the police to the scene, since we were pretty far in the bush. I was totally lost and confused. I'm trying to find my way back, and then I see the fox again. He watches me and then slips back away into the forest. Suddenly, I see these fox tracks in the snow. I begin following them and I pop out of the brush within 20 meters of the 2 armed police officers. The police and fire department searched into the night and found nothing. In the spring, 2 or 3 kilometers from the site, in the opposite direction of where I heard the screams, they found what was left of a woman's body. What the heck did I almost run into that night? And what was protecting me?
Another weird, crazy, scary story by Swamp Dweller. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories there for you to listen to each and every day and night when you're not listening to our show. So go check it on out. Now, we go to the Q&A. Here's our good friend, Robin Haynes.
Tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptic Q&A.
Robin Haynes, it's always good to have you here. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're always glad
Excited to see what we get into tonight.
Well, we're going to start off with a little project that I've been working on and that I'm building up here ever so gently and normally. It's called Haunted 108. Now, we are on X, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram and TikTok. So I've created another video of one of our famous spirits. Now, for our radio audience, I'd love it if you went on to Facebook, Haunted 108. That's it. Haunted 108. That's 108 for numbers. Okay. And I want you to go check it on out because at the end of the video, people will be able to see the ghost of Captain Watson. So
nice.
I'm going to play the video right now for our YouTube and Twitch and our social media audience, and then you'll hear the audio on the radio side, but it'll be good. I promise you. I'm telling a little story here. Here we go. All right. Let me just get set up here and all right, let's do this. Captain Geoffrey Lancelot Watson was a young British officer and veteran of the Boer War when he purchased 1,000 acres in 108 Mile Ranch for just $11,000. Standing 6.5 feet tall, he was known as an expert horseman, a superb shot, and a quiet bachelor with a deep love for animals. Watson's true passion was horses, especially his purebred Clydesdales. At times, he reportedly owned more than 100 of these massive, powerful animals. They won ribbons and trophies at shows across the region, and in 1908, he commissioned a huge log barn to be built right here in the 108, large enough to shelter dozens of Clydesdales at once. Today, the barn still stands as one of the largest log barns of its kind in Canada. By all accounts, Watson was generous, kind, and respected by everyone who knew him. But when the First World War began, he returned to England to serve once again as an officer. On April 20th, 1915, during the brutal fighting at Hill 60 near Ypres, Belgium, Captain Watson was killed in action at only 35. His name is now memorialized on the Marin Gate alongside thousands of soldiers whose bodies were never found. Yet here in the 108, many believe Captain Watson never truly left his beloved horses behind. On quiet nights, visitors and staff have reported seeing the tall shadow moving through the barn, as if he is still checking on his beloved Clydesdales. So the question remains, after you see this, is Captain Watson still watching over his horses in the barn? Or is it just imagination? This is Haunted 108. Oh, Libby, what are you doing there playing twice? You're only supposed to play once. All right, Robin, what do you think about that?
I think that's fantastic. He's in the barn.
Yeah,
He's not going anywhere.
It's a pretty incredible picture. It really is. So the funny part about this photo is I never saw a picture of Captain Watson before. I did not know what he looked like. I did not know what he was about. I knew the barn was built for him. Okay, I knew that. But the one thing that I didn't know was that in 2019, I caught a picture of him in one of the horse stalls. And when you put his picture that is up in the barn and you actually take a look at the photo that I took in 2019, it's pretty eerily similar to what we see. He is wearing his military hat in both photos. You can see his mustache. He has deeper, darker eyes. You can see that. You can see his nose in there. It is pretty amazing, Robin. And just your thoughts overall.
First off, that is one of the best pictures I have seen of a capture of a spirit. So kudos to you on that. Second, for anybody out there that reads energy signatures, you know that you can pull energy signatures out of a photo, and both that photo and the spirit have the same energy. Spirits are energy based. That's how they can manifest. That's how they can do things. That's how they can move things. They have to have energy to do it. The more energy they pull, the more they can appear as an apparition or do physical things. Those have the same exact energy signatures, in my opinion.
It's pretty incredible when you see the resemblance. And what I want for our radio audience, once again, is go onto Facebook or go onto our Instagram page, The Haunted 108. That's 108 for numbers, where you can actually see the actual picture in the video that I just played. And you can actually see the extreme similarities between the photo that I caught in 2019 and compare it to the actual photo of Captain Watson. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible. It's just fantastic. But that picture and that photo had the same energy signature. 100%.
It is absolutely freaky. Freaky awesome, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely freaky awesome. But that's what I love about the paranormal, Robin, is you never know what you're going to get, because I took 3 photos. Because one thing in my extremely amateur way of understanding paranormal investigation is you always take 3 photos in a row, because you never know what you are going to get from by just kind of looking at it. Okay.
Well, it's funny you say that, because back in 2000, it was either 10 or 11, I met Dr. Igor Borsta. He was brought out to my house because of all the activity I had going on with the Sasquatch. And we've gotten to be very good friends. I've known him for years. And since I met him, he has literally drummed it into my head. You never take 1 photo. You never take anything less than 3. Of every single shot you take 3. So it's very funny that you say that. Because now I just automatically, I don't care if I'm taking a picture of my grandchild, the dog, or a Sasquatch, it's always 3 of every photo.
It is absolutely weird and amazing at the same time, because it doesn't matter whether you're in a haunted place like this barn, or it doesn't really matter whether you are at home. Always take photos. You never know what you're going to capture. And that's the amazing part about it.
It is. And we've gone over this before on this show. When you're taking pictures of cryptids, the way you get photos of cryptids are certain ways. But I encourage everybody take random photos, because whether it's a spirit or a cryptid, they show up in the photos. They are so busy, like with the cryptids, are so busy bending the energy and the light around them and raising their vibration to be able to cloak. And with the spirit, the only way they can manifest into an apparition is by pulling extra energy to do so. They are so busy pulling that extra energy and doing what they need to do that they don't block the cameras. They don't. You can get them on camera. So just because you don't see it, like for people that do read energy signatures, you're going to find them anyway. And Dave, you've gotten so far along over the last few years since I've known you, like your vibrational level is just through the chart. So you're going to be able to do, that's why you get so many good things and you're so in tune to things. But go out, take random photos, and then go back, blow them up, and look at them, because you will be amazed what you get. And you will get more pictures of things that way than running around trying to wait till you see with your third dimensional eyes and you see all these things. They're high frequency. You don't see those with a third dimensional eye. So just go out and take the random photos and you're going to get exactly like what you did.
It is pretty unique. I mean, we have got some of the clearest photos of ghosts from our barn and on that facility. It is absolutely amazing at how everything just kind of looks. Okay, like it's eerie sometimes. And we're gonna be doing a new video here coming up here probably this weekend, where I'm going to do the guy on the stairs. And you know what the funny part about it is? I was going to do that this past weekend because we have an incredible photo of our ghost up on the stairwell in the barn, in that same barn in the second floor. And a lot of times, you know, what I like to do is I like to allow a little bit of AI to bring the photos to life. I think that is just absolutely fantastic. And I went to a couple different AI programs to say, can you focus on the guy on the stairs? And AI can't see the guy on the stairs.
Oh, wow.
And yet it is absolutely easy to see the gentleman on the stairs. It is incredible to actually see him. For our YouTube audience, I'm going to try and pull it up here, that photo, because it is, to me, still one of the best photos I've ever seen up close and personal.
Dave, only because I'm not going to be left alone until I ask you this. Do they still have any horses out there at all?
No, just the spirit horses.
Okay, because he's having a fit about it. Something about breeding the Clydesdales out there. When he had all those horses, I don't know if you know if he was breeding them or not. He's rambling on about babies and foals, and he wants to see them out there again.
Well,
I don't even know who owns it.
The Clydesdale barn is one of the largest A-frame log barns in the world. It's about 70, 80 yards long.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible building. It's one of my favorite buildings. That is. And you were just getting a message from Captain Watson there, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and he seems fine, other than I was trying to listen to you and he was going on about the horses.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's trying to indicate that he was breeding Clydesdales while he was there. If not, that's what he's all about right now. He wants to see the foals. He wants to see the horses. So that's what the barn was for. But he has no intention of leaving that barn. He doesn't seem overly... Is there a house there? Because he's not mentioning a house at all. If there's a house there...
There's a house there, but it's not his house. And the barn from where Captain Watson's house was, and he had a 3-story mansion that unfortunately burned.
He doesn't care about it. He doesn't care two wits about that house. He cares about the barn.
The barn was taken to its current site about 30, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was put back together log by log. with the exact same logs from 1908.
Yeah. He's just going on about foals and the foals.
We'll figure it out. I will go down to the barn and see. So this is the photo that I wanted to show you. On YouTube, you're not going to be able to see it. But on this photo, this was taken once again in 3 photos. This was taken in 2017 by a lady who did not believe in ghosts, did not want to be a part of our ghost tour, but she only went because her friend didn't want to go alone. And this is what she captured here. So this is in the upstairs of the barn, okay, that we are showing. And there is a stairwell going up to a catwalk. On the stairwell, there seems to be a gentleman standing there with his hand on the railing and his face looking right at her. Now, during the tour, we do not allow people up on the catwalk. So we don't know how this person was taken. The tour guide who was in there made sure that nobody went up on the catwalk for safety reasons. But it was something that was very, very intriguing to many of us. His hand in his arm, you could see his shoulder right on going down to his arm, which is level with the handrail of the stairwell going up. And then you can kind of see his face. Now, it's hard to zoom in because the photo is online. And I've zoomed in as far as I possibly can on that. But it is creepy because this gentleman actually has a scar running down his face. And I find it incredibly difficult at times to look at because this is a guy who knows his power. He knows what he is about, and he knows how he is supposed to act. And that is, he's a tough guy. He is a tough guy who tends to really get upset with people who are in his area. So,
did he work there?
No.
Why does he have such a strong connection to that barn?
We don't know.
That's a fantastic picture, by the way.
Exactly. So I apologize for my shaking here, but you can see his
Look
face
at that.
and his arm, and there's a scar going down his forehead. What do you think, Robin? Tell me about him.
I'm still Mr. Watson's still talking 90 miles an hour, so I'm a little bit scattered. That guy right there, he's really protective of that barn. Like, I don't understand the protective nature to the barn. Like, I mean, I'm not even sure that he has even a connection to it. It's almost like he's just landed there. And he's claimed that space for his.
He definitely knows his power.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power. He's been able to manifest, which means he's pulling power from somewhere. My guess is wherever that barn is at, there's an energy source in the ground. Okay, it could be anything. It could be an energy hole. It could be a vortex. It could be anything. I'm not picking up a vortex, but there's an energy source underneath that barn. Wherever they landed that thing at, there's energy from the ground that he's pulling from. And he has decided that's his space. He's not going anywhere. And he's got a lot of power to him because he knows how to pull the energy. That's where they get their power from.
Well, we got 15 seconds left, and I can tell you this. Doesn't like his photo being taken. People are not allowed to photograph him. Nobody's allowed up on his catwalk without his permission. And there's a bottle of whiskey, a couple of cigarettes for a donation, shall we say, to make sure that he stays calm. Robin Haynes and the Q&A continues right after this.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear. I'm just going to step behind my camera so I'm not as shaky. So that way you guys can maybe see a little bit better. So let me go like this first. Where is it here? Let me go like this first.
He's got a bad attitude, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's cranky.
Oh, yeah.
So this way where maybe not shaking as much.
He just showed up there.
See
Like
this?
he's claimed that space for himself.
Yeah.
I will say this, Mr. Watson isn't too thrilled about it.
Yeah, you can see his arm on the railing. And there you
Okay,
go.
how far back can you go on what's gone on with that barn?
Well, we can't figure out anything to do with him.
No, I know, but this Mr. Watson is not going to stop. Like, apparently nobody's tried to talk to him before.
Oh, that'll start again.
No, but he's like all excited because he didn't think anybody could hear him.
Okay, what does he want to know?
He is insisting, okay, you said there was a fire at the house.
Yep.
Is there and he could be confused, okay? I'm not saying, I'm just telling you what he's saying.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you how accurate it is. Apparently, in one part or one corner of that barn, there was a fire. There was part of that barn that caught on fire because he says he lost 2 horses in it.
Okay.
And he's like all worked up about it. It's almost like he thinks it's still going on.
No, tell him the fire's out.
Well, I did.
Okay.
But
so
he said,
I want to show you something here. See, I hope this will come through. See the white lights here?
Yeah.
We don't know what those were. But when we zoom in, and I don't know if this will show because of the reflection on my screen here. If we zoom in on this photo, you can actually make out his face again.
If you send me that photo, I can lighten it up enough to look at it.
Let's see, that'll come up. I just wish there wasn't such. There's too much reflection there.
Yeah.
Right there, maybe. Right there.
Oh, yeah, you can see a little bit of it.
Yeah. And you can see the scar running down at the face again. So the funny part about that photo was actually taken on the bottom floor.
So he's all over the barn.
Yeah, it's his barn.
Yeah, but, well, Mr. Watson is not happy because he doesn't like him.
Well, not very many people do like him, to be blunt. I get along with him. He tolerates me. So, but we got a deal. He don't attack me. I keep his whiskey topped and his cigarettes packed.
Yeah, but check out and find out if there was ever a fire at that barn because Mr. Watson is insisting. It might have been a small fire, it might have been insignificant, and it might not show in the records. But he said that there was a fire in the barn and that 2 horses died.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why this is so important to him to talk about it now, but he is rambling.
All right.
It's not that uncommon. When spirits actually find somebody that can hear them, sometimes they ramble. The other thing is when they were alive, what was important to them then and things they would say, not always is the same when they're gone.
We got a minute to go. Let's talk about that part on the show.
Okay.
Okay. So that way we can get to those. But the type of camera was used on the one on the guy on the stairwell, a Galaxy S7 or S8 was used. I mean, that was back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Captain Watson photo, I think it was my iPhone 11 or 10 back then. So
I think cell phones do a better job than regular cameras, but that's just me.
yeah. So We're coming back in 20 seconds. Thank you to Shogun Times 2, Benno, and T-Bone. Thank you, Flat Six, for renewing your YouTube membership with us. We greatly appreciate it. So we're coming back in 10 seconds, Robin.
Sounds good.
All right, we are kicking off the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to bring in Robin Haynes right now as we are talking about the ghosts of Haunted 108. Now, if you haven't heard of my project yet that I'm working on, I'm starting a little bit of a tourism company, a haunted tourism bed and breakfast at 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. It's in the middle of the Caribou region. So if you're wondering where that is from Vancouver, it's about 6.5 hour beautiful drive northeast. Very much worth it. And I'm showing off my new project here with some videos and ghost pictures that we've taken about Haunted 108. And Robin Haynes is here with us. And Robin, you were picking up on some of the energy of the guy on the stairwell who doesn't look very happy at times.
Oh, he's awful. When he was alive, he was a drunk. He was a woman abuser. He was not a good person in any way, shape, or form. Why he landed there, I have no idea. Sometimes that happens. I've been places where, there's a certain time period of spirits, they're supposed to be there, and then something wacky will happen and there'll be a different one from a different time period that shows up, and it just happens to be where they landed at, and that's where they're at. But he is not from there. He is not kind. Mr. Watson does not like him there at all, has tried to get him out, and he can't get him out of there. But they do not get along.
No, I can see that. I can totally see that. Just your thoughts overall. I mean, from Captain Watson to the buildings, why do spirits stick around?
It's funny because everybody assumes they have to have some kind of attachment to that space. And a lot of times they do. They absolutely do. But a lot of my clients, I talk to the spirits that are in their homes or around them. And the thing of it is that's not always necessary as far as them having to have an attachment. I mean, I've had spirits that have followed me from house to house. Fortunately, they're good ones, so I haven't had a problem with them. But they can just happens to be where they end up. I worked with some a couple of weeks ago. There was a man, his wife, and a child. And the man was from there. Their wife and child weren't, and he couldn't find them. He was looking for them, and they were actually in a different location. And we were able to get everybody back together, and they're all back on their homestead now. But the thing is sometimes they just don't end up where they want to go. And they will adjust and they will stay wherever they decide to. And they may not have any connection. I did a home clearing, an energetic home clearing for a gal, and she had so many different spirits in there. And not one of those spirits actually was from that home. What brought them there was they liked the energy from her. She had a very high frequency, and that's what they were drawn to. In this guy's case, I don't think it's anything more than that's just where he decided to settle in because he felt comfortable there because nobody else was there other than Mr. Watson. I keep getting an image of this guy getting drunk and hanging out in a barn. So wherever he lived at prior to, he spent a lot of time out in his barn because he'd go out there and drink. And I think that has a lot to do why he is in a barn, maybe not that barn, but a barn. And he's comfortable there. He has no desire to leave. And it's really sad because he makes Mr. Watson very, very uncomfortable. He is not happy with him there, and he's a little bit fearful of him. Watson seemed to be a man that, while yes, he could go and fight for his country, he really was a kind man. He was more of a pacifist at heart. He would go and fight for his country because it was the right thing to do. He's very honorable. And he was there to protect. but overall he was very kind. He wasn't this, not that he's afraid of this gentleman, but he was more a very honorable, kind human being. He fought in the wars to protect, just as he would for these horses. But this other guy, he was a man that, like I said, he abused women. He did not like children at all. He was an alcoholic. He was a very violent human being. And I think as far as the barn goes, he just settled there because there wasn't anybody hanging around it. There's not a lot of live humans running in and out when he settled in there. I think he's been there for a very, very long time. As far as that goes, when they moved that barn, he could be attached to the land, not the barn. And when that barn got moved, because he was so used to being in barns, because that's where he would go and drink and pass out and everything else, he could have gotten attached to the barn that way. He could have been on that land long before, when there was nothing there. There could have been, at one point in time in history, there could have been a house on there. I mean, I don't know, but he's not, the barn itself is not what drew him there. It could have overlapped, but it is not uncommon for spirits to show up in many different places that they have no attachment to. In my opinion, it's a myth that they only go to places that they have an attachment to. A lot of them do, yes, absolutely. But also, there is a lot that seems to be where they land. They don't know where they're supposed to be, and they find a place to manifest, and that's where they stay.
It happens.
It absolutely happens. It's funny because I do talk to a lot of spirits. I have since I was very, very young. My first memory talking to spirits was Christmas time when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And there was a gentleman by the Christmas tree. It was not Santa Claus. He was wearing a dressing gown, like in the olden days that they did. And he had very dark, curly, wavy hair, and he had like the handlebar mustache. And I can remember standing by the Christmas tree talking to him. And, he was messing with the ornaments on the tree. I was wide awake. I hadn't even been to bed yet. And I ran and got my parents and said, this is what's going on. And my dad thought there was somebody in the house. And of course, he couldn't find anybody. But, it's funny because like all of a sudden, everybody's talking to spirits. I had a very dear friend of mine the other day say, I'm trying to find somebody that can talk to ghosts. And I said, okay, I can. And he said, well, I knew you did all these other things. I didn't know you could talk to ghosts. And I'm like, oh, good Lord. If you can talk to one thing, you can talk to them all. But yeah, that guy is like bad news. That would be one that you want to, I think it's great that you are putting out things for him, because he would be one that would shove somebody. And I think at some point there's been people that have gone in that barn that he may have acted violently with. He's got a lot of oomph to him, so he's pulling energy somewhere. I don't know if there's lights. They've got lights in that barn now. I don't know if it's pulling energy from the ground. I seem to feel like it's more from the ground. He's found some kind of energy hole in there and he's pulling energy from it. But he's manifested a lot more than a lot of spirits do.
Oh, yes.
So he's a handful for sure.
He is a handful indeed.
At one time, he was married and he was very abusive to his wife.
Well, that's terrible.
And he ended up by himself.
Got a few questions from our audience here for you tonight.
Sure.
All right. Earlier, when you first started, you said there was an energy shift coming. T-Bone is asking, what's causing the energy shift?
Well, we're still, remember, guys, we've talked about this before, that the entire planet is shifting frequencies. And so while we're shifting frequencies, we will have these bursts, like a push of frequency. Okay, so that can be energetic just from the atmosphere. Like we did have that real big one here a month or so ago. We've got another few that are coming in. It'll just be like a push. Okay, so when it does that, remember that during that energy flux and that shift up in the frequency, there's a radius around that energy. So we're going to feel it a few days before. It will peak when it actually comes in, like a solar flare type thing. And then we're going to feel it as it leaves as well. So it's not just the days that the solar flares hit, it's going to hit before and after, because there's a radius around every energy source. So what can happen, emotions can run high, frequent problems with sleep, which we already have because our bodies are changing from carbon-based to crystalline, and it's doing it because of the shift anyway. But you can have headaches, you can have migraines. Extreme exhaustion is not uncommon. Sleep breaking up and down, just things completely out of whack. Okay, really push your fluids, guys, push the protein and just kind of ride the wave because that's all you can do about it. It is for the better. As much as this is a pain to do, it's something that we do want to happen. It's necessary for us.
All right, let's get to another question. Blue is asking, I've seen online cryptid videos and photos where they appear cartoonish. Plus, their movements also appear to be cartoonish. Is this intentionally done to confuse or throw off anybody or anything? I want to start with the answer on this one, Robin, if you don't mind.
Okay. Go right ahead.
And this is what we call AI. So for those out there who cannot decipher the difference between AI and real videos right now, if it looks cartoonish, if it looks like, they're moving and everything like that, and it just doesn't seem normal, you can no longer trust. Do not, in my opinion, whether it's UFOs, whether it's Bigfoot, Dogman, and even some ghosts now, AI is so advanced. Unless you know the person who is putting the video out, I would highly suggest that you do not trust the video as being real anymore. We can't. It's over.
Yeah,
Video is over.
As far as I'm concerned, AI is the very worst thing that ever happened to us for a large number of reasons. The other thing I want to add to that, as far as what can make it look that way, if they are getting the photo or the video while they're cloaked, okay, their frequency is very high. It normally will look just like they are in the physical, because the digital camera, the worst thing that happened for cryptids and spirits was a digital camera. So the digital camera will pick them up like they are actually there. And they are there, but it will show them in the physical because of them doing what they're doing and raising that frequency. They're not going to manipulate the camera. However, if they are moving, not always, but every once in a great while, if they are moving around, they can have that goofy look to them, almost like a blurred look because they're moving. But I do agree with Dave. 9 out of 10 of these videos that have that cartoonish thing is done from the AI. But there is about 1% that, in my personal opinion, can come out looking like that because of the energy that they generate. It messes with the camera. It doesn't happen often. Like I said, if you're getting a picture of them and they are cloaked, the ones that I've gotten when they are cloaked, it shows them physical. It does. And I've got a lot of photos, and they've been put out on various shows. I mean, I can put more on Dave's show if you want, and they all look 100% in the physical. But occasionally I will get some, and it almost looks like their faces are slurred or distorted or whatever. And it seems to come from that particular one where not only are they trying to raise the frequency to cloak, but those particular ones are also trying to manipulate the camera at the same time. And when they do it, it screws up the photo altogether. Most of them don't try to do that because they're so focused in using that frequency to cloak so you don't see them. They don't think about messing with the camera. And because they're not messing with the camera and they're cloaking, we get them in that physical form. And they aren't worried about it because they think you can't see them. And that's how the camera catches them. But occasionally you get the one that is a little bit more intelligent, has a little bit more woo to it, and they will try to mess with the camera at the same time as block it. But that's about 1% of the time. I think the other 9% I'd have to agree with Dave on. Because I think the AI, as far as I'm concerned, the AI is the worst thing that ever happened to this industry, because we already had a very difficult time getting people to look at the real photos and acknowledge that they're real, because the third dimensional brain does not allow that. You're talking about it, the paradigms of that third dimensional brain cannot comprehend those things. So it automatically tells the person that it doesn't exist. You have to be of a higher frequency to be able to accept that these things are real. That's why so many shut it down. So you're talking about looking at these photos with the third dimensional eye, your brain tells you they're not real. So now we're already having problems getting people to accept it. And we've got a lot of hoaxers out there. God bless their little monstrous souls. And now we get the AI to come in and fudge it all up. And it gives us less credibility than we even had before.
I would agree with you on that. And, you know, I think AI has a lot of good purposes to it, but I agree 100% with you that the manipulation that we are going to see with Sasquatch videos, Loch Ness Monster videos, Dogman videos, alien videos, the unfortunate part about it is it's going to take a bunch of very good, honest people, and it's going to push their evidence back into the cupboard. Now, the good news about this is with AI, you can put a video into AI systems, whether it's ChatGPT, Grok, or others, and you can actually say, hey, could you tell me if this is AI or not? And they will, those systems will be able to read the video for now.
Yeah, and I will say one other thing that AI cannot do. For those people that do read energy signatures and know how to pull energy signatures out of photos, AI can't duplicate energy signatures. So if you are a person that is capable of doing that, you're not going to get fooled.
Well, just like the picture that I just showed you with the gentleman on the stairwell that you were talking about earlier.
Massive energy signature.
When I put that photo into AI, Grok could not read it. ChatGPT could not read the man on the stairs.
Yeah.
It was like he wasn't even there.
Yeah. Yeah. And when the AI recreates the photos, because they are just recreating something, they are not capable of putting an energy signature in it because there is none. It's a recreation of a photo. It's not the actual subject that had the energy signature.
It is
so
amazing.
So take that, AI.
Yeah. Let's get to another question for Blue. Are the Sasquatch people glyphs influenced by various ancient human civilization languages that had previously settled, colonized, invaded, etc., the surrounding territory of the Sasquatch people?
I'm not going to say no. I don't think we have proof either way on that. It is communication for them. Now, I do have one that I'm rather close to that says, we also like to, make things look pretty. Well, that's great. They do. But 9 out of 10 of these glyphs, they are a message. They are a form of communication. Now, what we do know is in different tribal areas, they tend to pick up the ways of certain tribes, languages, whatsoever. So, do I think that some of the glyphs could be compared to that? I think it's very possible. I would absolutely not rule that out because, like, I lived in Michigan and the indigenous people that were there, they spoke the same similar language to them. If you go over to North Carolina and the Cherokee territories, they speak more Cherokee. It just depends. There is a variation of it. Those glyphs mean something. They tell stories. They send messages to each other. Each clan will recreate them how they want. So only some of them, their clan members can read. They can do it like basically across the board. So all of them can, but they will also have it for just that members of the clan. So if an outside clan were to come and see some of these glyphs, they may not understand it. But your basic ones that show like a river or a stream, how many people are in the clan, how many elders, that kind of thing. Those are pretty basic things. And that's what those glyphs stand for. A lot of them are a map. Some of them show a gathering of the people when they come together. I mean, it is communication. Now, I'm not going to rule out that some of the glyphs could come from indigenous people or ancient humans at an earlier time there, because they would have adapted to some of those traditions there. So I think it's entirely possible. I think it's something that we can't rule out.
All right. With that, we got about a minute 30 to go here. And I always love getting your opinion on things because I always find you to be so accurate and so
Oh,
much
thank
fun
you.
with everything. And, I did try to get out to Flight 21
Okay.
this past weekend, and it was weird. We didn't even go up any higher in elevation, but the snow was like double in that
Oh,
area.
wow.
So before we got stuck, we ended up backing out and decided that we're going to have to wait till spring. So
Yeah.
it was unsuccessful trying to get to Flight 21, but we were successful in driving up to the road that attaches to the road to get to Flight 21. But we're going to have to wait a little bit here. It's just wasn't safe.
Well, I will tell you one thing. You got ratted out because, was this over the weekend you went?
This past Sunday.
Okay. Because they were quite excited that you were coming up there.
Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of hoping that you could get up there, even though you didn't make it. So you got ratted out. So I already knew that you were already going up there, because especially that white one was like the white one and the blondish color one. They were kind of hoping you could make it up there.
Well, maybe next time. Robin, you stick around for a couple of seconds as we get ready to say good night to everybody out there after this amazing show. This is what we call the woo, people. This was the one tonight.
Yep.
As we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. One second, Robin. Let me unmute you here for a second. You can just give me a couple of seconds here. That would be great.
No problem.
And let's go here. What's the date today? 17. All right, go like this, like that, and then like this. All right, there we go. What the heck happened? We had an error. We had an error tonight. I guess we're not sending a show. This sucks. What the hell happened here?
It didn't record?
Why didn't that go? Retry. Publish. Son of a biscuit.
Oh, and that was such a good show. Did you get all the show? I mean, or was it just our end that didn't go?
No, it's totally weird. Totally weird.
The whole 3 hours?
Whole 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
That is horrible. That is horrible.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry.
Fuck a duck. Well, that just meant extra work for me tonight.
Yeah.
Bear with me. That sucks. That was a good show.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
It pisses me off. Oh, well, if that's the worst thing that happens, we're doing great.
I'd be so upset.
We're doing great if that's the worst thing that happens.
Yeah.
All right.
I am so happy for you with this new project.
Yeah, me too.
I think you need it. I think you need it energetically, your soul, all of it. I think it's something that you need to do.
I think so. It's going to be a lot of fun once we get all the pieces moving at once. It's going to be a lot of fun. It really is, and I'm looking forward to it. Come on. Learn how to spell. All right, there we go. That really sucked. That just pisses me off. I think it only recorded like 1 second of the show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was like, that seemed odd. So I must have accidentally hit something that didn't work. So
Is there any way to undo it or no?
no, unfortunately.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this. A lot of people are having problem with electronics, malfunctioning, shutting down. I told you about the glitch in the matrix I went through last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. Everything kept repeating. It was like Groundhog's Day. I'm sitting here and the dogs are doing the same movements over and over. The show TV is playing the same thing over and over and over. I was watching a video that was playing the same part over and over and over. And I was just like, what in the world is going on? And then it just stopped and everything went back to normal.
Wow.
And something I said, what in the hell's going on? Something said glitch in the matrix. I'm like, really? You think?
Yeah.
Like it was insane. Like the dog would jump off the bed, go to the door, come back, jump off the bed, go to the door. Same movements repeatedly. It just kept going and doing the same thing over and over. Because I have two phones. I had a video. I was getting some Intel stuff, and that was on a project I'm working on, and that was playing, and it would go 10 minutes in, it'd go back to the beginning, and it was a live feed. It wasn't a recorded thing. And it would go 10 minutes in, it'd stop and go back. 10 minutes in, stop and go back. And
just
the
give
TV
me 1
did the same
second.
thing.
Paramarv, anybody with the audio on YouTube, the problem with the audio is it never comes out clearly, especially the background audio that we play from everything. So that's okay. That's okay. Just means we got to bring him back on. We got to bring him back on. I'm okay with that. You hate it when shit like this happens, but it does. And
Life.
yeah.
But be prepared for a lot of glitches because I've been hearing about them the last 2 days. And like I said, the glitch in the matrix that I went through was last week. And I've had electronic glitches ever since. That the frequency changes will do it.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds, Robin.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Spaced Out Radio, the After Hours radio show with me.
Oh, God, I can't use this episode. Anyways, people on YouTube, we're gonna let you guys go tonight. Tomorrow night we got Merle here. Merle, say it with me. Merle. It'll be amazing. We're gonna have a great night with Merle. So kick back, relax. We're gonna have a good time with him, and we are going to have a wonderful night. Thank you tonight to T-Bone, Benno, Shogun ×2. Appreciate your love. And we'll make sure that we get everything going here for another great show. So make sure you check it on out tomorrow night. It'll all be good. Get ready to Merle it up. Be like Paramarv. Be like Bombshell Bomber. And Robin, stick around for a minute if you don't mind.
Sure.
And we'll see you tomorrow night. Don't forget to go give us a thumbs up. Give us a comment after the show. And head on over to your other social media platforms and give us a follow on Haunted 108. Take care.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.